Well, welcome back to the Morning Kick. This is Andrew Pitchford from Excite Media, and really excited that today we're going to have a guest who's from another business here in Brisbane called Elaborate. So, welcoming to the show, Ryan McKergow. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us on the Morning Kick, which you and I have made the exception to the rule and gone with
right.
the afternoon kick, just to really
That's
kind of get
exactly
things
right.
happening before the weekend.
Yeah, why not? Change things
Tell
up a
us
bit.
about Elaborate. Now, you've been with the organisation for quite some time. You're into
Yeah, that's
a
right.
lot of technology.
Yep.
Tell me about how big the organisation is and what role you play.
Yeah, sure. So Elaborate's a specialist consultancy. We specialise in this thing called Agile, if you've heard of it, particularly if you're in the technology sphere. You may have heard like ANZ talk about their new ways of working. So that's what we specialise in, going to organisations to help them with that transition. My role is the group manager for Queensland. So I look after a team of about 20 people up here. Elaborate overall is about 100 across the eastern seaboard of Australia.
That's fantastic. And the organisation with all of those staffs, you guys would have been embracing the whole remote technology and remote communications for quite some time.
Yeah, that's right. Given we've got to distribute into 4 different offices now, even from day dot, when I moved back up to Brisbane to start up the Brisbane office, was very much on video calls every day. I was working out of the state library for a little bit and making use of their meeting rooms in order to dial in with and connect in with the rest of the team. So we're quite well versed with it.
Well, one of the things that we're trying to encourage people to do who maybe aren't up to date with all the latest technology is to join Excite Media's business Thrival Mastermind group, where we're sharing ideas and things. So both Ryan and myself can put ideas into there, as well as the Excite Media team. So please join us on Facebook. We'll make sure we share those. Ryan, you and I have connected because we both have a real concern that in this whole kind of upheaval, it's our staff that we need to look after. And I really liked your approach on LinkedIn. You were talking about looking after team mental health. Can you just share what was really front of mind for you when you made those comments on LinkedIn? Yeah,
sure. So obviously there's a lot of change happening for a lot of people at the moment. We're in pretty uncertain times. And for me, I've been thinking about there's a loss of control for some people. And for some people, they're also adjusting to now working from home on a semi-permanent basis. So there's a lot of a kind of upheaval in people's lives. So what I was sharing on LinkedIn is just lots of different things and approaches for one, taking care of yourself, and particularly if you're a leader, looking after yourself first, so then you can look after your family and teams. But also then just thinking about, okay, well, what can I take back into control of my life when there's so many things that we can't control at the moment? So things like looking after mental health. Okay, well, what are you looking at in terms of the news? Yes, we need to stay informed, but is it helpful to have the TV on 24/7? Probably not. Then obviously then thinking about your social media feed, should you be taking a little bit of a break? And so just providing different suggestions on that.
It's good advice. And it's funny, right throughout human history, we've had to face different challenges, but we've had things like the GFC, we've had 9/11 that happened. And I think people were really warned about the effects of news and social media during some of those things as well. So I think we've really got to control the amount of bad stuff that's feeding into our souls and minds.
And you can look at it a different way as well. You can think about more feeding the positive thoughts into your mind. So one practice that I've been doing, particularly this year, it's been a goal of mine to do it every single day, is practice gratitude. And it's literally just writing down 3 things at the start of each day, things that I'm grateful for in my life, and they could be big or small. So it could be a sense of, what could it be? I'm just grateful that I went for a walk outside, or it could be work related, or it could be family related. But whatever it is, just thinking about those things that are positive in your life, because there's a lot that is possibly negative at the moment, but there's also a lot of good that is still happening as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I even had that experience today. I went and picked up a lunch with my son at a local
Mm.
cafe, and it was interesting. I knew that they couldn't do sit-down meals. I knew it was going to be takeaway, so we
Yeah,
rang ahead,
yeah,
and I was actually broken just with the fact that they were basically offering a $17 meal for $10.
yeah.
That just
Wow.
shows the situation they're in. But
Mm.
on top of that, when I rang, they said, the good news is you also get a free soft drink with each of those meals. I'm going, you
Sure.
don't have to do that.
Yeah,
And their generosity was incredible. We
that's right.
returned the generosity, but I love hearing those kindness stories as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing is there's plenty of those going around. Like, uh, if you've seen walking around the neighborhood, like keeping within your suburb, a number of people have been putting out like teddy bears in their windows, so like the kids have something to have a bit of hide and seek, almost see how many teddy bears you can spot as you're walking around the neighborhood. So yeah, there's plenty of those stories going around.
I love it. You sound like you've got a real focus on team culture. Have you got
Mm.
some initiatives that you're doing? You've got the technology, but technology
Yeah,
only takes us so far. We
yeah,
can
that's
use
right.
Slack, we can use email, but how do we build team cohesion at this time?
Yeah, that's right. There's multiple different ways, and interestingly, we've always had a practice as a team that we would come together on Thursday afternoons. Being a consulting organisation, a lot of our team is distributed out to our clients, and they're full time at their clients for the vast majority of the team. So we've always had a concept of come back to the office on a Thursday afternoon to connect, and that could be either social, it could be we're doing a workshop together. It could be more company announcements. But for the last 2 weeks, we've done remote only team catch ups. So everyone would jump on Google Hangouts. Last week, we did a bit of just a chit chat. Someone did a showcase of some of the work that they're doing. And then Thursday just passed. It was literally just chatting the entire time. Just, what's everyone's view now that we're working from home? So showing off their room or things that they've got in their house, or here's what I'm looking at every day. Mine's less interesting. I'm just staring at a wall. Others were like looking out on over Paddington or over Newstead, all common things. So we've kept that. And then obviously we use tools like Slack in order to keep in constant communication with each other.
Do you have any systems in place that you use to complement or pass on good news that people are doing within the team?
Yeah, so a lot of that happens through Slack. So we've kind of got a more formal and then an informal way of doing it. So we've got like a celebration channel where people will post in there just things that they've either done with their client or feedback they've received, or someone's helped each other out. The more formal mechanism is we link that into our a tool we call Small Improvements, where that's like managing your one-on-ones and giving recognition to each other. We've got goal setting in there as well. So we use that tool to kind of do the more official recording of praise to each other.
Very good. Love to hear it. For those of you that haven't heard this term Slack, you're probably familiar with tools like Facebook Messenger, but Slack is more of a commercial application. And one of the great things, it allows businesses to be able to put categories or channels on different topics. Some businesses will use Slack to have a channel just for a particular client or business that they're working with. So it's something that you can check out. Ryan, in terms of the tools in which you're using, they're basically keeping you connected.
That's right.
But are you still doing things? You mentioned one-on-ones, which is a great management tool to check in on staff. Are you still managing to do that remotely?
Yeah, that's right. So I had one with one of my team yesterday, and we've done that via video. A lot of our team is checking in on each other. So it's not necessarily just coming from me as the leader. So people are phoning around, checking, just literally a check-in call. How are you going? How are you feeling? Are you going okay? Anything I can do to help? So yeah, we're doing that on lots of different ways, both on the phone, in messaging through Slack, and then more in your formal sense of your leader to team member, and now just doing that via Google Hangouts.
One thing that you and I were talking about, and this is something I'm very conscious of, is that at the moment we've probably, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flick this over here so I can get
go for
my presentation. But I really think that during this time, some of our staff are going to have more highs and lows. And during our normal work, we probably have ups and downs that go along like this.
Yeah.
I guess right now we're going to have staff that have huge highs and staff that are going to have lows.
Yeah.
And sometimes our highs are different to their lows. We're going to be all over the place. Do we need to be more conscious of that? How do we deal
Yeah.
with the fact that people are up and down every day and possibly every hour?
That's right. I think as a leader, you need to be very conscious of, and I'm glad we're talking about it, because it's something that I need to be conscious of as well as a leader. Like it's not necessarily my strength to have that awareness at times. So, I could be at a high when a team member's at a low. But my approach with my team, and some of them know even more so than others, that they can talk to me about anything, and I won't come up from a place of formal management sense or from a place of judgment. Like I'm just here to listen, and even if it's they need to be pretty open and vulnerable and sharing how they're feeling or just the exact emotions or what they're thinking about right now. And I've communicated this to the team as well. Just if you need to have that chat with me, like I'm more than happy to, and kind of reinforce that with people over time as well. Like, it's okay to have like more of a, if it's a venting session or you need deep and meaningful session, like I'm here for that as well.
Yeah, I think we've got to be open that those moments where we blow a little bit may happen. Just be conscious that it's not personal. It's just the reality that we're going to have clash of emotions at different times, and be able to ride it out. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, exactly right. And particularly if you think at a moment where obviously a number of businesses are impacted, and us as leaders are sometimes having to make difficult decisions as well, that sometimes we will have to make a difficult decision or communicate a difficult decision, and people aren't necessarily going to receive that well, which is understandably very, very natural for people as well. So, but I think if you come from a place of where they know that you're caring, we know that we're trying to look after everyone, then I think that certainly helps.
Ryan, really appreciate having you on the show, and we are wanting to continue to talk to people about their different businesses. So I'm just going to very quickly bring up, we've got the Elaborate website here.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Could you just give us a bit of a sense of why people should connect with Elaborate? Obviously, you're a business that has a service to offer in our community and across the nation. Who would you like to talk to?
Yeah, well, obviously, like as you can see from how our front page is designed at this moment, we're really there to help organisations, particularly if they're making the shift to remote working for the very first time. Like that can be a very big adjustment in how do you even operate as a remote-enabled team now? How do you guide your team through this process? And our consultants have a wealth of experience of working with distributed teams, and what's the right tooling, and how do you set up like your social contracts or team norms, or how do you operate in this remote sense? So certainly we're there to help. A lot of organisations have obviously put in quite strict processes now that work from home only. And obviously the government is putting stronger and stronger controls in there, but there's still appetite for people to learn and want to learn. So one thing that we've done is quickly pivot our academy offering, our training offering, to provide what we're calling remote learning or live online learning, so people can still go through their professional development while we're in this kind of sense of working remotely.
No, that's really brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much for spending some time with us. And
My
just very
pleasure.
quickly before we finish up, also just to remind everybody that Excite Media has now made the Thrival Plan available for all businesses. We sat down with clients. Some of them were wanting to pause, some wanting to accelerate, because obviously every business is different. So what we very quickly put together was a checklist that we think is helpful to help you assess what you should do next. Now, we've made it into a Google Doc that you can actually download, copy, share. Please just use it. If you want to use it on your own, you'll find it extremely helpful. If you want to use it with your current contacts or advisors, please download it and copy it. But if you do need help, give us a ring. We're happy to assist as well. Well, this has been another edition of The Morning Kick with a little bit of an afternoon twist we managed to squeeze in here. So what I'd like to do is invite you to join us on Monday. Now, on Monday, we're going to be joined by Kevin Gammy. Kevin looks after one of the I was going to say busiest, the biggest and busiest small business Facebook groups. I believe they have around 8,500 members now, and he's going to be on the show to talk about some of the initiatives that they're doing. Hope that you'll join me Monday morning on The Morning Kick. Thank you very much.